Hello and welcome to the Frugal Granny channel. I'm Ali. I'm Frugal Granny. I'm a 64 and 3/4-year-old semi-retiree, and I'm recording the process of going from full-time employment through semi-retirement, getting my annuities until I eventually get my state pension in 2 years' time. Thank you very much to all of those who've come back to watch today's episode, and welcome to new viewers. Today it's sort of what I've dubbed in my head Magazine Monday. I'm doing a second question and answer roundup. I'm going to show you a very brief freezer tour. I'm going to show you the correct banana muffin recipe, a quick tour under my kitchen sink because people wanted to know what cleaning materials I used, the shopping tour that I said I wasn't going to do, a bit of midnight madness talking about the price of toilet rolls like you do, and then your usual kitty fix. So I hope you enjoy, and I'll be back on Thursday for Coffee and Catch Up 14. Okay, I know some of you have been waiting for a freezer tour. Well, I had to defrost the freezer part of my fridge freezer this morning because it was icing up very badly. So you can just have a look in these drawers now if you want, while I just give them a quick tidy out. The one at the bottom belongs to the son who lives with me, so I'm not going to go through that. But okay, so here's some thyme that my son left behind when he came from London, and some grana padano that he left. It's sort of grated Italian hard cheese. There's some green pesto there. If we use half a bag of pesto, I will freeze the rest. This is a bag of chicken stock cubes. I boil down the chicken bones and make stock. That's a bag of chicken stock. That will do for soup. And I freeze the chicken stock in these things here, so I'm just going to tip that into there. Whoops. Chopped chilies for cooking, some lime wedges for something, frozen basil leaves, juice and zest of 1 lemon, which I froze in a takeaway box, and I can use that for cooking. There's a tub of grated pepperoni there. I can use that for cooking. What have I got here? Box of chicken stock, that will be for soup. A bag of diced ginger. So I mean, if you see ginger on the yellow label counter and you use ginger for anything, you know, you can bring it home and chop it up and freeze it. So this little drawer at the bottom is for my sort of cooking bits. That's a bag of frozen dill. There's some strawberries there from the garden. Those will be for porridge toppers in the winter. And just put that basil back down there. What's this? That's some cubes of frozen lemon juice. So I'm going to keep that with the lemon so that it's all together. Then I have a bag of red jalapeno peppers. I think they were on yellow label offer, and I freeze them whole, and then I can take one out and chop it up for a curry or something. Then here I've got several bags. Oh, there's a lot of water in there, but they'll still be okay. Several bags of chopped red pepper. I got those very cheap when they were on offer, and chopped them up and froze them. Right, so let's just put all this back. Pecorino needs to go over the top. There's the stock cubes, pesto, stock cubes, limes. Some time. Okay, this one. There's some more chopped peppers there. This tends to be my vegetable go-to-it, chuck it in some food drawers. I've got a tub of rice there that I can thaw out for stir-fry special rice. And some bit more rice there that could go with a curry if I'm on my own. Right, here at the back I've got garden berries. That one's mainly loganberries, that's blackberries, loganberries and strawberries. That one's loganberries and strawberries. And then at the bottom I've got 4 bananas for making banana bread or banana muffins. There's 4 more bananas here. I'm just going to put those down there with the other ones. Put those on top. That's a bag of spinach leaf. You see a bag of spinach leaf on the yellow label counter. You can freeze it and then crumble it into stuff. Some more berries here. Sliced onions. Again, if I see those on the yellow label counter and they're a good price, I'll buy those and freeze them for throwing into cooking. What's that? There are some bits of pork that were left from something that need to go in a stir fry, so a rice, so put those there. Got a bit of sweet corn. I opened a tin, I didn't want it all, so I froze that for the next time I make chilli or something. Some sliced sausages there that need to go into something. There's 2 baking camemberts that I got on yellow label. They're waiting for an opportune moment. Right, let's just get these things back in here. Okay, here I've got a bag of chopped swede that will go in a soup or something in the winter. Chopped mushrooms to go in stuff. Again, these would have been on offer and I've chopped and frozen them. Bird's eye chilies. Again, on offer, frozen, ready for use. A leftover ice lolly from when the grandkids were here, and might eat that this afternoon. More mushrooms. These are quartered, the other ones are sliced, so they may go in different things. Chopped leeks, again, these probably would all have been reduced price. I chopped them up and freeze them, so we've got plenty of leeks for soups in the coming autumn. What's this? Oh, chicken stock, more chicken stock, and more chicken stock. So plenty of stuff there for soups. And these are frozen eggs. Each one is 1 egg, and I can use those for cooking. The waffles I made this morning had 2 of those in them. You just have to remember to thaw them out overnight. You cannot defrost them in the microwave, they just scramble. So that's that freezer. I guess those peppers ought to go with the other ones. And mushrooms. Right, and then that drawer belongs to my son, so you're not seeing that. Yeah, so that's my fridge freezer drawers. That's mainly stuff that I want to grab quite quickly if I'm cooking. I'm going to quickly repeat the banana muffin recipe because the video I posted before, I actually missed out the eggs from the wet mixture, and although I have left a note about that in the description of the video. I think some viewers are missing that because I have had someone come back to me and say that the recipe turned out like biscuits. I assume that's American biscuits, not English biscuits. I have actually taken that video down because I don't want anyone else getting confused by the fact I left the eggs out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just put the wet and the dry mix together, and I will talk you through what's in the wet and the dry mix. Okay, so I'm doing voiceover here, and I'm basically showing you that we have a wet mix on the left and a dry mix on the right. Now the wet mix will have 2 eggs in it. That's what I forgot last time. So you pop 2 eggs in there. It also should have 450 mils of dairy milk. You can use semi-skimmed, skimmed, whole milk, any milk you like. I don't know how it works with non-dairy milk. You also need 180 mils of vegetable oil or corn oil or melted butter. And then for the banana muffins, you put in 4 overripe bananas, peeled, and 2 handfuls of porridge oats. Then you whiz it up with a stick blender. You can put the porridge oats in before or afterwards. In this situation, I put them in first, and it didn't really seem to make much difference. Now in the dry mixture, you need 500 grams of plain flour, which in the USA is all-purpose flour. Please do not use maize flour. You need to use wheat flour for this. Then I would say you probably need 4 to 5 ounces of white sugar, which is 100 to 125 grams. You can use brown sugar, you can use honey if you even want to. Then 1 level teaspoon, of salt, and 2 level tablespoons full of baking powder. Make sure you sieve the baking powder to get the lumps out, and then you need to stir everything together really well. I'm basically saying you need to stir it all up so that the baking powder is nicely incorporated and the sugar is distributed. Then you pour the wet into the dry, scrape the bowl out well. And that's one frugal tip really, is try not to waste stuff that's stuck in a bowl. So here I'm saying that a spatula is the frugal cook's best friend. I'm scraping all the wet mixture out into the dry mixture, giving the spatula a little tap, and then using it, that is a serving spoon, just to fold the wet mixture into the dry. You do not want to beat it with an electric mixer. Do this by hand, fold it in. It does not matter if the mixture is lumpy, it really doesn't, but if you beat it, you're going to destroy whatever it is that makes muffins what they are, and that also could probably contribute to a flat, hard muffin. There I'm getting the spoon right down to the bottom of the bowl to make sure there's nothing stuck to the bottom, scraping the spoon off to get any flour that's stuck to the spoon, and then just stirring that in quickly. Right, now I'm preparing the muffin tins, and as I said before, I oil them quite well. I don't use muffin cases because I think that's an unnecessary expense unless I'm making muffins for a sale, in which case I think that gives a better presentation and it saves me the trouble of having to wash out the muffin trays between each batch. So here you can see me using a pastry brush to make sure the oil coats the base of each well and up the sides, because you need to keep the sides well oiled so that the muffins can actually rise and the mixture doesn't stick to the side of the wells. I know this is a bit of a faff, and you know, you might think it takes a little bit of time, but it's actually time well spent, unless you're using muffin cases, which, as I said, I actually don't do anymore. Okay, so I've finished that now, and I am just going to put the muffin mixture into the muffin trays. Scoop and scrape, scoop and scrape. Okay, right, let's do the second tray now. Here we go again. Whoops, dropped a bit down the side. Scoop and scrape. You can actually put raisins or chopped walnuts or both into this muffin mix. I don't do that, mainly as a nod at frugality, and not everybody likes dried fruit or nuts, so I think they're okay just plain. Right, just going to share out the remaining mixture now. Some of the wells in the first tray are not quite as full as they could be. I think I'm making a little bit of a mess of this, dribbling mixture all over the place. Okay, here comes out the Frugal Cook's friend again, my nice silicone spatula. Right, gonna just share out that mixture now. Sorry, my hand's in the way, you can't really see, but you get the idea. Okay, one final scrape. There we go. Right, and I'm just going to tidy up some of the bits that I've dribbled all over the muffin trays, but they come out very well in the end. It doesn't have to look perfect. Right, just scrape that bit in. There we go. Okay. Right, well, while I've been doing this, the oven's been heating up to 180 degrees C. I put the big oven on for this, the fan oven, so that I know both trays are getting the same sort of heat exposure. Whoops, you didn't see me licking my fingers there. Anyway, these are for home consumption, so hopefully that won't matter. Right, into the oven for about 20 minutes. And okay, so the banana muffins have come out of the oven now. You can see they've risen quite nicely. Let me just get that a bit closer for you. There you are. And maybe I could have left them in a little bit longer, but they do look a lot more golden in real life than they do through the screen. Right, I'm just going to dig those out so that they can air. And then at the back here, just for the curious, I cut up some windfall apples that I knocked off the tree while I was stacking wood. I cut those up, covered them with water, boiled them, and I have strained off through a muslin cloth the juice. So that's effectively homemade apple pectin. And I will be freezing it in my large cubed ice tray and popping those out into a bag in the freezer, and then I will add them to jam as and when. I use those for jams made out of low pectin fruits like strawberry, blueberry, rhubarb, marrow and ginger, that sort of thing. Right, let's just pop these muffins out now. All right, there we are. The muffins have got their bottoms out of their muffin wells and they are airing off. Technically speaking, yes, you should put them on an airing rack, but I'm just too lazy. I've always just done it like that and it seems fine. I think as long as they get a little bit of air underneath, then that's okay. Right, I've had somebody else asking about what sort of cleaning materials I use. I'm afraid I'm not the white vinegar, bicarbonate of soda and lemon juice camp. I still buy my cleaning materials. I buy the minimum, but I do still buy them. Seeing as though I'm all set up down here in the kitchen, I thought this might be a good opportunity to tidy out under the sink, and then you can see what's in there. Okay? All right, well, the first thing is a rather manky bag of dishwasher tablets. I only use my dishwasher about once a month, and I put the hob supports in there, and the extractor hood filters and anything else that will fit, and I just give that a good blitz. But otherwise I don't use my dishwasher, so I've had these for years, as you can see. That's my laundry powder. I do not use this brand, I just use the oldie colour matte. Behind that I've got some fabric conditioner. I dilute that by 50%, so basically I always keep one empty bottle, tipping half of it into another bottle and then filling it up with water and then mixing it up thoroughly, and it works perfectly well, just makes it go twice as far and cost half as less. There's some hand sanitizer there which I keep for filling up the little bottle I keep in my work jacket. There's some hand wash liquid there for special jumpers or anything that might need special treatment. I've got some sticky stuff remover here, which is very good, funnily enough, for getting sticky stuff off things like the glue off jar labels if I'm trying to rescue jars for jam making. And here is some washing machine cleaner. I quite like to use this every now and then, once every 3 months, just to freshen up the washing machine. I only use half of it, although it says put the whole lot in. I only use half because the one time I did put the whole lot in, I had foam coming out of the powder drawer, and honestly it was like something from a horror movie. Half, I only use half. Then, oh, that is Febreze Air Mist Pet Heavy Duty. I bought that when my old dog was still alive and I needed to clean up after her quite a lot, and I felt the house was beginning to get a little bit of a taint, so I bought that just to keep things fresh. I mean, I was washing things, I was putting on about 4 loads of laundry a day towards the end, but that helped as well. And then I've got some Mr. Muscle Platinum Kitchen, which is a fantastic degreasant. I use that for the top of the hob, around the cooker, and on top of the cupboards, the tall cupboards where all the grease tends to settle. Then there's some WD-40. You never know when you're going to need that. Very good for locks and bicycles. Hello, young lady. Have you come to help? Have you come to help? Are you a good girl? Then I have some wooden furniture polish. I have one item of wooden furniture which is on the attic landing, and I use that to clean that piece of furniture. I literally have had that years. Mould and mildew remover. It's effectively very strong spray bleach, and I do use it for other things. I spray around the sink drain hole with it and things like that. Again, don't breathe it in, wear gloves, rinse well. Window and glass cleaner. And then that's left over from the pandemic. That's multi-purpose cleaning spray. I'm just using that up if I need to wipe anything down, including furniture. I tend to use that, a damp cloth. I've got some cream cleaner. I use that for getting stuck on bits off pans and things like that, and also cleaning the inside of my oven. And then I have washing up liquid, the cheapo stuff. I've got a wire brush which I'm using to clean my floor, curly locks for stubborn bits on pans, a washing up sponge, and a toothbrush for going around the bottom of the tap. And that's it. So nothing exciting in there, and there's also a plastic envelope with my appliance instructions, so there you go. No, I'm afraid I haven't moved on to white vinegar, lemon juice and bicarbonate of soda yet. I have and do sometimes clean windows with white vinegar and newspaper, but that's about as far as it goes. I was brought up on washing up liquid and Ajax, quite frankly, and that's all my mother ever used to clean. And my only concessions really, oh, she used window lean for windows as well, but my only concessions really beyond that have been this degreasant, which yeah, I find pretty essential. But anyway, there you go, that's what's under my cupboard. Honestly, who would believe it? Shopping. I know I said I was going to only buy what I needed this month, and I popped down to the supermarket because my son needed some stuff for his lunches and I needed a couple of things, and of course a few other things jumped into the basket as well. So just let me tell you what I've got today. At the back right, I've got 2 8-packs of toilet tissues. This is a new presentation of that product. I haven't actually worked out yet whether it being in a packet of 8 is now shrinkflation, or whether it's just a packet of 8 at the same price. So those toilet rolls were £3.10 per packet, and I suspect that is more per toilet roll. I will investigate because I keep my receipts, and I'm going to go back and check that one out. Then to the left, I bought a live parsley plant. We were cooking some pasta the other day and we really wanted parsley and we didn't have any. That was £1.50. Then I bought some sparkling water, 6 small bottles for £1.40. I'm hoping that this will stop me just buying the odd single bottle of water when I'm on shift, because I can actually get 6 bottles in a packet like that cheaper than 1 bottle on its own. So I'm trying to plan ahead. So that should keep me going for a week. I've already drunk one in the car. Right, in front of the bottles of water, I bought 5 plastic takeaway containers, which I need for batch cooking. I'm actually out of those. If you leave them in the fridge or freezer too long, they do go brittle and they start to break. And I've got to the stage now where I need a few more, and I will not be buying a takeaway in order to get them. Those are expensive. They used to be 20 pence each, those tubs. They're now well over 40 pence each. That's double. Then to the right of those little tubs, I bought a bunch of ripe and ready bananas. They were on club card offer from 78p down to 70 pence, and I bought them with some yogurt, so hopefully those will be nice healthy breakfasts or desserts. So the yogurt was 55p. Then continuing to the right, I bought 2 rolls of reduced price sticky tape. They were £1.65 and I got them 82 pence off, so they were reduced to clear. I'm really low on sellotape, so it was good to find those. Then I bought 2 packets of the Vine tomatoes, which were on offer, £1.15 each, club card price 79 pence. So I got those for 79 pence each, which is a bargain when it comes to tomatoes nowadays. Then just to the left of them, 2 garlic bulbs, 40 pence each. And then going left again, I bought 2 tubs of bicarbonate of soda. I think redoing the banana muffin recipe made me think that I should get some fresh bicarb. That was half price. They were 65 pence each, so I got 2. And then going to the left again, I bought myself an A4 notebook for £1. I use that for writing lists in. And then on top of that, there are 2 packets of 180 sticky labels. I need some sticky labels for jam making and labelling things that go in the freezer. They again were reduced to clear, £1.25 each. I bought 2 and I got £1.24 off. Yeah, so that was a good value. And then in the middle at the front, I bought 3 packets of Jumbones, mini small dog treats, beef and poultry. Kitty has one of those every time I go out to work. It gives her something to concentrate on while I sneak out of the door, but I do say a proper goodbye to her, but they are a treat for her. And she saves them till I get back. She won't touch them till I get back, and then she just goes crazy. I got those on offer. It was 3 packets for £3.90, but that was reduced to £2.85. Any 3 for £2.85, so I saved £1.05 there. And then at the front, right, there's a packet of Woodside Farms unsmoked back bacon for £1.45. They've brought the Woodside Farms bacon back into stock, but that was the only packet of unsmoked bacon. All of the rest was smoked. So I bought that one, and I'm probably going to tuck that in a space in one of my freezer drawers. I think that's everything I got. Oh yes, I also got a pan au chocolat as a treat for my son tomorrow morning, but that's not on the table. Right, so the whole of that was £31.23, and the savings on that were £9.02. The savings were made up of £3.91 of promotions, £3.91 of colleague discount, and the pan au chocolat was in the colleague shop, so that was at minus another £1.20. So my total spend was £22.21. So that's almost half of my weekly allowance of £45 spent there. But I was really quite pleased with that. There's some things for this week, obviously the fresh items. There's some bits and pieces that I've had on my shopping list on the fridge for quite a while, like the takeaway tubs and the sticky labels and the sellotape. So I'm glad to get all those things off the list. Sometimes leaving things on a list a long time means they get crossed off because I realise I don't need them. But those things have stayed on for about 2 months, so I decided I would get them while I could. So that's going to be my shopping for week 2, and I'm not anticipating needing to get anything else. As I said, I'm just going to be living out of my freezer this month. Okay, so let's go on to the next item. Kitty. Kitty. Kitty.